All right back at you with our abbreviated version of the real Kyper and Bourne show. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee, Derek Brandeo, and Jen Rolnick here with another version of the quickest hour in hockey. We're live on Sportsnet 590 The Fan, Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver, and Sportsnet 960 in Calgary. This hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. A couple days off.
Yeah.
Catch our breath.
Yeah, people think we're like mad at each other after yesterday.
Well, you know what I told you before the show. I'm really mad at you. I'm trying to remember what I said yesterday.
I don't either. I have no idea.
No, we're all good. We understand that
we're the three best friends that anybody could have. We're the three best friends that anyone
three
could have.
at times human beings from different planets. That's what I've learned in 4 years.
That's very
and it's okay.
true.
It's
it is
all right
okay.
if I look at you every once in a while, I see a third eye.
Yeah.
We do not agree.
I got no problem with that.
But as far as either the passion coming out of Four Nations or the one in this very studio,
Yes.
The levels have risen dramatically.
Yeah. And what's fun is I can't wait to hear your thoughts. Like, we used to discuss this stuff, and I love not coming in here and not knowing what you think about Quinn Hughes being in wait right now to find out if he can play for the American team in the final of this event.
Well,
The Undertaker. This is, we've gone full WWE.
A lot of people going,
it's a dumb league.
what is going on here? Like, what are the rules and who can play and who's eligible and who's not? And anyone that's asked me in the last 24 hours, I say, kind of make it up as they go along.
Like, it reminds me of like a tournament you'd have with your buddies. And then like someone would come up, be like, well, I don't know, we never really talked about that. Like, I guess what we should do is, they genuinely, it is a little.
It's just something that we haven't really looked at much.
I'm trying not to focus on it, but it's crazy there was no plan.
For the record, Quinn Hughes is on his way from Vancouver. Yeah. It is what is being described as for emergency purposes only. Mm-hmm. There would have to be another legitimate reason why he could play Thursday, which would mean an additional defenseman needs to have some serious issues between now and Thursday night to get into the lineup.
Yes.
Outside of Charlie McAvoy, who has now been deemed unavailable to the U.S. team.
But Vincent Trocheck got hurt last game. Can they say we want to play Jake Sanderson at left wing and now we need a D? If that's two legitimate injuries,
they
can go 11-7.
I said this a month ago. It's your league. It's your rules. It's the NHL and the players. Just say whatever you want. Yeah. You're in control here.
Totally.
There's no double IHF to go plead any case to.
And who doesn't want Quinn Hughes to play?
Me.
Oh, there it is.
Can we just get Mike Sullivan clip 2? This is a very short one, but I wish I was good enough at editing so I could do the glass shattering and like the Stone Cold music. But this sounds so good. Clip 2.
Quinn Hughes is coming.
Quinn Hughes
no, not Quinn Hughes.
I'm okay for him to play.
Of course,
I
agree.
Okay. Like, come on.
I cannot believe we all agree on that.
Yeah, let him play.
I don't want them to have an excuse.
In fact, I'll take it a step further. Right? I'm like, if I'm Quinn Hughes, I'm like, if I'm coming out there, I'm not coming out there to put pom-poms on Thursday night. You want to fly me right across the country? And tell me I'm playing.
And I'll get ahead of all the people who are saying, then, can't Canada bring in Logan Thompson or Tom Wilson or whatever? Quinn Hughes was named to the American team. He was named to the roster already. He was one of the first 4 guys they picked. So he's been a part of their roster.
I did see Biz talking about just bringing, and at this point, I'm kind of
listen.
But
just bring them all in. It's the biggest game. Who cares? There's
he's
no
a Canadian.
rules.
Let us dress our best Canadians.
Bring them in.
2 years from now, you need marketing purposes to name 6-8 guys. Knock your socks off.
Mm-hmm.
Next tournament,
Fully interchangeable.
you got a Canadian passport. Be ready.
You might come into the third period.
I don't care.
Someone else may play the first 2.
Get hurt. Fly Tom Wilson in. He's Canadian.
Why not?
We can dress 18 skaters and 2 goalies that are Canadian. We'll tell you who it's going to be before puck drop.
As long as the players are on board, I'm not going away. I'll sit at home and wait for the call.
Could you imagine? You got guys being like, I don't know.
If you can find those guys. Because there's a lot of them going, no, I'm going on vacation.
Yeah.
But, again,
you call Tom Wilson.
It's better.
He's in Boston Thursday night, bud. There's the
doing
Stone
the
Cold
bushwhackers
music.
running.
That's basically like we're kind of given that version right now.
Yeah.
And for Quinn Hughes to come in, and I get your point. He was named to it. I understand that.
Yeah.
But either you have hard rules, you lock your roster in, you have 3 or 4 extras, convince them not to go on vacation, right? If we're onto this pride country thing going on right now, then stay at home and wait.
Yeah. But like he can legitimately be eligible with one more injury for them. And they had several people hurt last game. So maybe it'll be legit. Maybe it'll be 11-7. Maybe they'll just decide, really, what did we want this tournament to be? Their country's best players against our best players. He's going to be a Norris Trophy winner. Did he win the Norris last year?
Can't remember.
Well, either way, he's clearly one of their best. He's eligible. He's healthy. Go ahead.
Can I ask just what, like, if it's Quinn Hughes here and he's coming in, there's no way he's flying. Well, I mean, is he in Vancouver? I guess he's probably in Vancouver. Is he home?
He's in Vancouver.
He was in Vancouver.
Yeah.
So he's flying from Vancouver to Boston, which is not a short flight. There is simply 0% chance he does not play on Thursday.
He's waiting to see if he can play, is what I've heard. He won't fly until he knows he can play.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, can we play the clip from Mike Sullivan again? Clip 2?
Quinn Hughes is coming.
So he's coming.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Listen.
I think he's on his way.
He's
I do.
actually in. Okay. It's
And-
happening.
So he's
Either way.
playing. There's no way he's flying all the way
I
there
disagree.
to play.
If he's not eligible, I can see him still wanting to be a part of it. He's going to be on the Olympic team. He'll be a captain. He's going to want to be a part of this. He was named to it.
So what's the deal with Jake Sanderson here? Like food poisoning, or is he questionable?
No.
He can get food poisoning if they need him to, though.
I heard he was questionable.
You did?
Yeah, but again, I'm in Toronto. They're in Boston.
What's
but
going on here?
yeah,
What do you mean? What's going on? Exactly what they need to happen is going on. Their 7th guy is suddenly getting sick.
He's
Yeah.
like, go to the sketchiest pub in Boston.
He's
Have the
licking
worst clam
fingers.
chowder you've ever
listen,
had.
I'm not reporting. Hey, everybody listening,
Oh, I love it.
I'm not reporting anything.
No.
But someone said that maybe Jake Sanderson may have some health issues.
You're not telling them what is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Not telling you the truth. I'm telling you what I heard.
What I heard. Yeah. This guy is just licking walls and eating bad soup, trying to get himself. They're trying to get Hughes eligible. So
Do we have another clip of Mike Sullivan
got
on,
lots of Hughes
on
clips.
Quinn Hughes?
Yeah, play the second one on how murky this is. Clip 2, please. Yes, clip 3, Quinn. Yeah, my bad.
Mike, sorry, just to elaborate on Quinn coming, is he an actual possibility to play? What goes into that decision? Like how prepared could he be? I mean, could you just expand on that, please?
Sure. Well, right now we're just taking each day as it comes. You know, we're gonna take it one day at a time. We'll see what potential options might be available for us for the championship game, and then we'll make decisions accordingly from there.
We'll make sure that he licks the floor. And
Yeah.
He has no idea. No one
I
knows
gotta
how to
tell
expand.
you, Team USA is like the best. They're a defensive juggernaut in this tournament. Charlie McAvoy was an absolute force against Canada in the first game.
Expand?
Are we sure
Yeah.
that having Hughes there might made it open some space up for the Canadian forwards in the U.S. zone instead of McAvoy punishing, chopping, doing his whole thing? Maybe it definitely helps him offensively.
Just make sure he's facing the glass in his own zone all night, right? Just put him in a position to not have time and space to carry the puck out, because that's where he is very good at.
I mean, that U.S. team, you look at the defensive numbers in this tournament, they've given up 1.8 high-danger chances per game. Every other team's over 3. Slavin is a force. Werenski's been great. Brock Faber plays 30 minutes a night.
Okay, Mike Sullivan on Charlie McAvoy, clip 1.
Yeah, it's tough. You know, Charlie he's a terrific hockey player, and he's a big part of this team. He's played extremely well through this tournament. When you lose players of that caliber, they're not easy to replace. You know, I know from a personal standpoint what this tournament meant to him, and how much he was looking forward to playing in this. So, having said that, we have capable people. You know, we have a lot of depth at all the positions. It's going to provide opportunities for others to step up.
It was a real curveball hearing McAvoy is the son-in-law of Sullivan. Didn't know that.
Really?
Yeah, it's Mike Sullivan's, Charlie McAvoy's father-in-law, which I guess means he married Mike Sullivan's daughter.
Wow.
Math.
So, thoughts on McAvoy?
What happened, right? He got cut.
I assume it's a cut. They said it's not his shoulder and other injuries.
They were worried about bacterial infection. The easiest way is to get him to a hospital and IV and like
antibiotics.
Very dangerous.
Yeah, it's for sure. I am surprised that like usually something like that you would think 3 days in advance with antibiotics you'd be eligible.
Yeah, but it depends on the severity of it. Yeah. But you got to drain.
Oh,
you got to. It's got to heal. Often that you stitch, and you just can't go back into that environment in 48 hours and put equipment on. It is very dangerous if that's what he's dealing with.
Right. Mm-hmm. So let's check in on John Cooper and his thoughts on Quinn Hughes.
It's probably good for the game, no doubt about that. Quinn Hughes is a special player. So, but I don't know all the rules of. Is he allowed to play? Same situation. Yeah. What did you say? That's funny. That was funny. He made it funny. So, it was unfortunate he was hurt to begin with because, I think those. I don't know if you get any better than those two guys. As for Kale, I thought he was great last night, and don't see any reason why he wouldn't play Thursday.
So he doesn't even know. No one knows.
I like Coop. I really do. But I'm kind of getting sick of this is great for the game. I don't want to hear it anymore. I just want to hear like what's good for Canada? What's good for you guys? What's good for you guys to win this thing?
Too soon to zoom out for the head coach.
Stop it with
leave it to me.
What's good for the game? You're coaching to win. You're not coaching to sell a package to corporate America or Canada.
So would you have preferred him being pissed off that he's allowed to play?
Really, I'd like to get somebody pissed off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Were you expecting me to be pissed off that he can play?
I would believe that if they get a sniff that Quinn Hughes is playing, they're all over the league. They're all over them.
You think Canada would be upset?
Yes.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do probably with the way the Harley and McCarr thing was handled as well. I'm sure
people
they saw
are annoyed
that.
that he couldn't practice yet.
Yeah. So I don't know. When you make up, like Bonnie said off the top, if you make up a attorney with weird rules that nobody knows, people are going to find loopholes pretty easily.
Every once in a while, though, you got to show. You got to just
do it. You want to
can't just sit back and just say, "Hey, everything's great for the game." It's like, come on, you're in it to win it now.
Yeah, that's okay for idiots like me to say, but maybe not the head coach of the team.
Anyway. Everything's great.
So, do you want to do the next Cooper one on the commitment the guys are making generally? I do want to talk Hagel.
Mike, is this just going to be another great positive?
No,
John Cooper.
I mean, do you want it or not?
All right, let's hear it.
Okay, let's go to clip 2.
It's a sporting event, okay? So I don't want to make it grander than it is, but everybody else in the league is, they're getting text messages from their boys that are in the Bahamas and Hawaii and doing all this and having 10 days of fun, and these guys are at work still, and not only working physically, but it's a mental grind too. And I think the guys have done a phenomenal job of trying to take out the white noise and understanding that there's the whole country cheering for you. It's just not your city, and so these guys are working, and for them to take a break and have a free day and do whatever they were going to do, like, these guys deserve it, because ultimately the two teams playing on Thursday, I mean, we're not playing Saturday, but there's like 15 games, right, on Saturday, and so they have to jump right back in it. And I just think these guys deserve a little break themselves.
Yeah, because they was talking about the off days.
He is, he's bang on. Yeah. Like, I think once the dust settles, when this thing's finally over, guys are going to be looking at each other going, oh, my God.
I'm tired.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted.
Media circus and the whole deal.
And after Carter, we'll talk about Austin Matthews missing last night, too. So,
okay.
I got some,
All right, let's welcome him in. Carter Hutton, former NHL goaltender, daily face-off contributor, does a terrific job. We've had him on the show before. Carter, how are you, pal? Thanks for joining us.
Hey, no problem, guys. Always excited to get back on. It's been a while, but this is my duty, right? I get called from a life as a backup, right? Anytime I get called, I got to be ready to go.
Attaboy. So big picture stuff. We'll get into the big game Thursday night, but overall, your overall assessment of all the goaltenders, including Sweden and Finland. I know up until this point, it's been predominantly, for sure, Binnington and Hellebuck has been the focus of the North American teams. But the difficulty or the pressure on goaltenders in this environment is a couple of games where I think we saw 7 goals. But outside of that, what's your feeling on what you've seen so far out of all of them?
I think it's been pretty good, right? Especially for a team where, I think every team has defended so hard, right? I think we look at Sweden, how their back end has played. Finland, obviously being, missing Miro Heiskanen has been huge, and I think he's played well. Kevin Lankinen came in. Obviously, Saros getting pulled was like kind of the only really blemish on the resume throughout this tournament, and Gustafsson having a tough go. But I think overall it's been very good. And I think look at Connor Hellebuck, the situation he's been in, and I think there's been a bit of a black cloud over him, right? You look at his lack of playoff success and where he's at. So I think for him, this is a big monkey off his back. I think winning that game up in Montreal was very important for him and for his resume. And now there's that pressure of Thursday, right? He's in a game. It's an elimination game where this is for it. It's for the 4 Nation Cups. And yes, I know it's going to go away and it's going to just collect dust after this. This isn't a Stanley Cup. This is an Olympic gold medal, but it's important. I think there is a measuring, where he can go with this and move this and use this into the Stanley Cup finals. So, and then again, there's Jordan Binnington, right? And this is the conversation we've heard so much about. And I am a big backer. I believe in this situation. I think it's important to see where he is at and what he has done throughout his career. And I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on him. But we look at the game and we can go back to those games where we can look at a few goals and situations where he, there's ones he wanted and he wants back, right? But it doesn't matter anymore because all that matters is Thursday night. And if there's a guy that can understand that and compartmentalize that, it's Jordan Binnington.
Did you think they should have gone to Hill before the last game, or your team ride it out with Binner?
I'm team ride it out for Binnington. I think if you're going to go to Hill, it had to be that Saturday night against the United States because that game was so close and he played so well at times. Yes, the Getzel goal is one that, you need to save on. And maybe you can make the argument it's a huge game. The Larkin save, it's from distance. You need to save it. It's a perfect shot. But in the same sense, once you had him for the first 2 games, you got to ride him. And I think there's value to what Binnington brings, right? I think I look at his puck handling ability was really on show. He showed it off yesterday against the Finns, right? Relieving so much pressure. And the patience and poise he has with the puck is unbelievable. It's world class, especially from a goalie who was a puck handler. And I don't think I was on that phase of what Jordan Binnington can do with the puck, but he's out early. He handles it. And what he really does well, honestly, is he draws the forecheck in, right? He makes guys change their direction because he's so patient with it. And he can just maintain it. The patience he has is so impressive. And I think for them, what he does moving forward is, and then they relieve the pressure. There's less hits on the D-man. There's so much things that go into play that I think is so important in his game. And yes, at the end of the day, stopping the puck is so important. But when you look at this D-core and what Canada, how they defend so well, him being able to relieve that pressure and they can get pucks out of the zone quicker and efficiently is so important, I think, to this Canadians game plan, especially going into Thursday night against the United States.
Carter, the term that goalies often hear is a bad goal a game. And can it play with your mind? Because it just seems like we've seen different variations throughout all the goaltenders, but let's focus on Binnington right now, where there's some games where you can give up a bad goal a game and get away with it. And then there's Saturday night against the U.S. where his bad goal a game cost them. And what does he carry now into Thursday night? And can he still give up a suspect goal and have Canada win this thing?
I honestly, Kyper, I think when you're talking about Team Canada, like there's just enough run support there that they potentially could do it. He could give up a bad goal. He could give up 2. They could score 4. Like who knows how this game plays out. But I think for Jordan Binnington, like falling back on experience, right? And I talk about that all the time, right? We make that argument, you know, you've heard it all the time. We talk about why isn't Darcy Kemper there? Why isn't Logan Thompson there? Why isn't Mackenzie Blackwood? Yada, yada, yada. And there's so many riches of players, right? And they haven't lost the tournament, right? We talk about Tom Wilson, Mark Scheifele, all these guys, and I think they're still in the tournament. One thing for me that is super important for Jordan Binnington is the fact that he knows how to move on. In Game 6, he gave up 4 goals to the Boston Bruins, and he had a mountain to climb going into TD Garden, facing Tuukka Rask, and playing that. Also, another game in that series, he gave up 5 goals. So I think that's where his, like, he has those experiences to draw upon, right? And I think that's something that's super important and something for me, like, as I'm on this other side now and I'm dissecting media and in this game, and I look back on my career, I didn't just learn how to play in games like just overnight, right? It's you draw upon so many different experiences that you've dealt with, and then all of a sudden you have the ability to manage the moment and manage the day off today and manage tomorrow and manage the morning skate and not let those negative thoughts creep in. And I think for Binnington, he talks about that a lot. And something I really noticed in that US game is visually they showed him at one point in the net, and you can see him actually just taking a deep breath in. They like showed him in the crease. You could see him breathing. And these are techniques that they just don't happen overnight. These are experiences gained. So I feel like he has that going for him. And he has the fact that he's a Stanley Cup champ and he's won a Stanley Cup in this arena. So he can walk out into that rink on Thursday night with a little bit of arrogance and a little bit of cockiness internally to know that he can get it done. And again, on the other side, Connor Hellebuck's been in a ton of big games, but he hasn't got over that hump. So there is that side of it as well. So I feel like this just sets up so well with like the David versus Goliath matchup here for USA and Canada.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about Hellebuck, who has been the best goaltender in the league this year, Hart Trophy candidate.
So which one's David and which one's Goliath?
Well, yeah, I mean, in theory, yeah, but it's almost like this is something Hellebuck doesn't have those moments to draw on where he can say, I have got to the mountaintop. I know what it's like to win the big game in the same way Binnington does.
Yeah, but you can't get there until you've been in these situations, right? And Hellebuck hasn't been in those situations, right? He hasn't been in a Stanley Cup final. He hasn't been fortunate enough to do that, right? And it's not like Binnington has played behind like these unbelievable teams in a sense. Like St. Louis was very good there. I was a year removed from St. Louis. I led the whole league in goals against and save percentage. And trust me, it wasn't just me. Like we had Jay Bouwmeester, Alex Pietrangelo, Colton Parayko, who's been showing what he can do. We had a plethora of riches on the defensive end. But I also think for Hellebuck, he has experience now too, right? We can look back on his playoff series. He can draw upon what happened last year against Colorado and how he was run out of the building in that series. So I also think there's that side of it. But right now, when you talk about goalie matchup, you know, Hellebuck is Goliath and Binnington is David, right? In this comparison, in my opinion, and especially I think the way it's spun throughout the media. But I would be quick to defend Jordan Binnington and so much value he brings to this team, whether it's his mindset, his character, his demeanor, the way he carries himself. And again, like I touched on earlier, his puck handling is so important. I look back to a playoff series against Minnesota where Ville Husso started that series, and then they switched to Jordan Binnington. The Minnesota Wild's forecheck was killing the St. Louis Blues. Jordan Binnington came in. He relieved so much pressure with his puck handling that Minnesota tried to re-evolve their game during that series, and they were quickly eliminated by the St. Louis Blues. So I feel like he has a great element to his game and his demeanor. And in one game showdown, like if we were doing an 82-game season, I would take Connor Hellebuck all day. But this is a one-game showdown, right? We always hear that conversation, right? In one game, who would you take? And I think right now you could make a coin flip on who you would take in this game.
Carter, great stuff, man. So give the edge a little bit to the Stanley Cup champion.
Well, I'm a little biased too, right? He's
all right.
got the jersey hanging behind him. I'm a Canadian boy, so I'm biased. I guess I'm just quick to his defense, right? I feel like it's been so, you know, you'd have to take, I think argument's sake, you'd take the best goalie in the world right now, but it's the same thing. I think it's a coin flip. These teams are so even.
I loved it. I heard him talking. I did a quick Google search. Thunder Bay, Ontario here. There's a good Canadian boy right there.
All right.
So we got the flag. We hung a flag outside. So we'll be supporting Thursday night when the game's on.
Carter, awesome. Enjoy it, man, and we'll get you on again real soon. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks, guys, as always.
Thanks, appreciate
Carter
it.
Hutton, former NHL goaltender, now doing some work with Daily Faceoff. I think he makes an excellent point that, like, Jordan Binnington, like, there's some goalies we've seen, many in a Leaf uniform the last 5 or 10 years, where a bad goal can rattle them, and there's no recovery. I still think he could maybe let in a suspect goal, but he manages it way better, and he can still lock it down.
You know what?
It doesn't get away from him.
No, and I often think about the best golfers in the world. You watch like Scotty Scheffler hit one into the trees in a tight tournament, and he's not suddenly sweating or panicked or whatever.
He's punching it out, getting it up and down for par.
Exactly. Regroup, do the next thing you have to do well, and that's something that you have to have had some success to be able to manage.
So, Sammy, what's the latest on Quinn Hughes?
So Frege just sent a tweet saying that Quinn Hughes is indeed at Canucks practice today. So Quinn Hughes is at Canucks practice. We'll see how this turns out. But Hughes will not join USA unless there's a realistic chance he can play. Canucks' first game is Saturday in Vegas. Doesn't make sense for him to go to Vancouver, Boston, Vegas if he can't play Thursday. Hughes is also wearing a non-contact jersey.
You know, he's got lots of time. It's Tuesday.
You're right.
He can go tomorrow morning if he needs.
And they're not practicing, right?
Right.
They're not.
No, today's an off day. Tomorrow everybody's back on the ice apparently, according to Cooper.
But what I'm saying is that, like, for a guy that hasn't played in how long now? 3 weeks? A month?
Yeah, I don't know.
For Quinn Hughes?
Something like that.
Whatever it is, you're better off staying and practicing with the Canucks today than anything better than you can race over to here. But plus, there's really bad travel out there today.
Oh, it's brutal.
It's brutal. I can attest to that, trying to get my wife home from visiting my in-laws.
Jeez.
And
ask JD Bunkus how it's going.
Is he back yet?
I don't think so.
Oh, my God.
It's not an easy day to go across the country. I think that I think to Quinn or head coach Mike Sullivan that he's going. He's going.
Yeah.
There's just no way that you make that statement without the belief that he's gonna come.
And I can't imagine it would take the NHL front office very long to reach that decision. You'd get everyone on a call and say, "What are we doing?" And then you talk it out for half an hour, and then you have a decision. It's a pretty big one you need to make and make it quick. So I would imagine this will be decided very soon.
I do think the optics of this are very weird.
Well, it's not great.
I really do.
Unfortunate.
Like, listen, why do I care about optics? I'm not like Mr. like criticize the league. I don't really care. But like, if you're a Canucks, if you're Patrick Alvine, and you're like, you got Mike. I'm sure they've talked. We got Mike Sullivan at a press conference saying, Quinn Hughes is coming. And then you look at the bench, and he's on the bench in Vancouver wearing a non-contact jersey. It doesn't feel like a very sane thing that's going on here. Like, it's just
someone's going to be fresh. I think this does sow some unfortunate seeds for griping on whichever side, if he plays or he doesn't play. The best case scenario is he plays well, Canada beats pants off them, goes back to Vancouver healthy with a game under his belt.
Worst case scenario?
Oh, there's so many. There's so many.
If you're looking at the pros and cons here, boys.
He's in a non-contact jersey right
looking
now.
at the pros and cons.
Yeah.
You want to do game time or you want to go to break?
Let's go to break, and then we'll do Matthews and game time on the other side of the break.
All right. You heard the man. When we return, we'll get into the who might be available, who might not conversation, including Austin Matthews. Is he playing Thursday night? We'll get into that when we return from Real Kyper and Bourne. We're back. Hey, Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. Where do you guys want to start? You want to start with game time?
I'll start with game time.
Yeah.
It's game time presented by Bet365. Visit the app for latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. So pretty quiet night in the old sports schedule tonight. Good night to spend some time with your significant other, especially if they were stuck in a snowstorm traveling all over the place, Kyper. So no sports on TV tonight.
Do you cook, Kit?
I do cook.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
Saute a little
I
something.
love it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, cooking's great. The line for the Canada-USA game has shifted. Yesterday, I had mentioned that they were an underdog, and it was mentioned to John Cooper that they were an underdog. According to Bet365, they are no longer an underdog. It is dead even on the money line, minus 110 on both sides. So the money, a lot of the sharps, people saw that a team with McDavid, McKinnon, and McCarr were underdogs, and they probably jumped on it. So that line has shifted a little bit.
This is where, at least in the NFL, you get he's in, he's out.
Yeah.
Right? And this one's, it's tough when you don't know who's
100%.
playing.
Yeah. Quinn Hughes coming in, it's like that shifts the line. Like that puts Canada back to being an underdog probably.
Like at least they didn't give us a Charlie McAvoy game time decision. Like he's out.
He's out, yeah. And the last thing I'll bring up, since spring training is starting to trickle in here, it's all opening up all over the place. I don't know if anybody saw any of the news today in Toronto, but we can skip that part of it. The Los Angeles Dodgers, if you would like to bet on the Los Angeles Dodgers to repeat as World Series champions, you will have to do so at a plus 250 number. Plus 250.
Is that right?
They are, it's plus 250. That is, so if you bet $10, you don't win much.
You win $25.
Yeah. So it's they are heavy favorites. The next one's the Yankees at plus 800, Braves plus 900. And if you would like to wager on your Toronto Blue Jays, as I scroll down the list, plus 4,500 to win the World Series this year, wouldn't recommend it. That was Game Time, presented by Bet365. Visit the app for latest odds and find out why it's ever ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly.
So where are the odds on Bo Bichette now signing?
Let's just not talk about it. Matthews. I don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it.
As a reminder.
No more baseball.
As a reminder, this hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. Okay, physicality, hot button topic. Let's go to Sam Bennett on what he expects Thursday night.
I mean, never say never, but I don't really anticipate that. I mean, I think the messages were sent in that last game, and this game's it's all about winning. It's not about who's tougher, who's can intimidate more. It's about winning, and that's our main goal.
Spoken like a Stanley Cup champion right there.
But somebody's going to come out proactive and someone's going to come out reactive, and we know how that played out Saturday night.
Wow.
Someone needs to get the jump up physically.
If you believe that can help you win the game, absolutely.
It's pretty easy for old squirrely Joe Sam Bennett to say, like, oh, there's probably not going to be anything. He's going to fly and punch someone in the head.
Yeah, I'm not sure he believes that. And if he does, maybe someone should talk to him.
Yeah.
But I think he's playing coy.
Yeah, I think that's very possible. I sent some text. I got my cousin out in Saskatoon, Adam, telling me that the boys are loving Hagel. Just saying, when he comes back to town, he's not going to be buying a drink in Saskatchewan this summer. I think he's made a large impression. I think we have a quote from him too, but he said a lot of right things today.
Yeah.
About, that people wanted to hear about caring. Namely.
Yeah. Clip one, Hagel, please.
No, I think it's going to be the same way. I think it's two countries. Listen, what happened the other night, I think I did it for the flag and not for the cameras.
I did it for the flag.
God, why do I love this guy? I hate this guy, and now I love him.
Yeah.
He's my least favorite player in the league, and now I love him.
Going through the whole process of what this means, like this becoming such a, I guess, aggressive event or somewhat meaningful event, looking at the teams, you mentioned that guys would be mentally tired, that this would be a workload. I was looking at the Atlantic Division and who has the most players. So Ottawa and Detroit have 2 players each. Toronto has 3. Boston has 4. Tampa Bay has 5. Florida has 8. You got 8 guys in this event.
Yeah.
And I got to believe by the end of the year, that's not an advantage. That's not great to have a lot of your guys there. I mean, they're going to be some of your top guys too, right? Finland had, Lundell and Listerine and guys like that too.
They could have the option of sitting him out this weekend, and they've got the points in the standings that would support that, but the rest of them don't.
No.
Right?
Get back to work. Leafs got a back-to-back. Carolina.
Ottawa. That's between Brady Tkachuk and Jake Sanderson now.
Yeah, like that's your emotional. Actually, I had 3 guys because they had Allmark too. But that's your emotional leader in Brady Tkachuk.
Allmark
going
was
through
supposed
the
to start the other night, I think.
Was he?
Yeah, he was
so.
not feeling great.
Not feeling great.
Not feeling great.
Yeah. Not feeling great.
Dr. Fornation's off.
Allmark's taking some beatings on this show.
I mean, how could he not?
Yeah.
Anyways.
I got to think between Brady and Matthew, they will play Thursday night, but like you're not sure what you're going to get out of them. Like whatever's bothering them isn't going to suddenly go away in 2 days.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. That it likely does nag and bother and hinder them somewhat. But those two guys, what's the WADA testing on this? You know, can you just take whatever you want right now and go play? I'm sure it's a joke, but I'm sure they'll take whatever they need to play, shoot it up, and get out there for a game.
Matthews.
Austin Matthews did not play. They mentioned upper body injury. Or ailment. I don't know. How did they phrase it, Sammy?
I saw it was Russo that tweeted about it. I'm just trying to pull it up here. But basically, he was just said that he was with an upper body injury.
A little concerning, considering he's missed almost 20% of the season with something that was bothering him.
Vaguely upper body related.
And where are you on... Will he play or will he not?
Oh, yeah, he's going to play. I saw the absence in the third game as the game didn't matter. He is a guy who has been nursing something all year, and you want him at your best, and it just didn't make sense for him to play.
See, I would have thought the opposite. I would have thought if it's just precautionary, he should have played the last game. If it's just about being precautious, or if he's actually feeling an injury or something that is reoccurring, then I get the fact that he didn't play. But I thought the last game would have been a perfect game for him to kind of play himself out of this. How many games now without a goal? 8?
Yeah, going back to before the break and heading in. Yeah,
that's a lot of games without a goal. I thought under normal circumstances that would be a game that you'd want to play because
a no-hitter against Sweden.
It's a bit of a freebie to kind of find your groove a little bit, and he's not scoring. And
so
he's a scorer.
You think he's hurt?
It lends me to believe that it might be something. I hope it's not, but it could be something that's still bothering him.
I see it as something that's going to bother him all year long, and the more rest he can get, the better. And I'll be honest. I was texting.
The rest is not to play Thursday night. That's
well, yeah. So this is a worthwhile discussion because I had a text from someone who's a Leafs fan last night who said to me, last year it's chase for 70 goals. This year it's the Four Nations. When are the Leafs going to be the priority? I was like, that hurts.
Not to get off Matthews, but it will come to a bigger picture conversation, I think, for the league and the players. And once again, setting yourself up to going, how did we go from a 3-on-3 like party weekend to killing each other?
All
with
I can
30
see
games
is like
to go.
Nathan McKinnon shooting at a surfboard in that
Right?
in Miami.
Mitch Marner looking
5 fights immediately.
right.
So
Mitch
turn
Marner
this dial up. Oh no!
dressed like Miami Vice to absolutely trying to rip each other's heads off.
So can I just talk on the Matthews thing in terms of him playing or not playing?
Yeah.
And before the tournament, I'm not speaking for Leaf fans. Probably there's a ton of them that don't agree with me on this. Before the tournament, if he was banged up, I said multiple times, I talked about it for a long time, that I don't think he should play. I don't think he should play. But having seen how much this tournament actually matters and how much these guys actually care, I'm totally fine with him pushing it to play for USA. I am. Like, I would feel the exact same way if he was Canadian. So I can't talk out of both sides of my mouth. So he's got to play.
He's as the captain, I'm with you. You're either in or you're out. Yeah. There's just no dipping a toe in this tournament.
Yes, totally agree.
Maybe a week or two, we would have said you can get away with dipping a toe in it.
Yes.
And come out on the other side.
The shark will bite your hands off if you put your toe in the water.
And now it's like you're all in.
And as a Leaf fan, I'm horrified about Thursday, where that is
You should be horrified about Saturday and Sunday.
Well, I mean, that's future me's problem.
Yeah.
It's a scary game for a physicality-wise for two of the Leafs' biggest stars.
So I know how you feel, and you're caught up in the emotion of going into a Thursday night.
Yes.
But if there's a chance that Austin Matthews looks no different the rest of the season like he's looked earlier as a Leaf player, or the one that we've seen that isn't dominant as a shooter or a goal scorer, people are going to go back and going, like, he should have rested.
He shouldn't have played.
Shouldn't have played.
Hey, listen, that's why
if it costs your Leafs a first-round advance, so be it, right?
I actually will say, so be it. I'll say it right now.
The biggest thing, you hope for these guys.
For Canadian pride.
Buddy, I wouldn't have said this 2 weeks ago, but seeing Saturday night, seeing how much these guys are trying.
Can't ask a guy to not be part of it.
It matters. And I dreamt of this mattering. That's wanted this
Quinn
to
Hughes
matter.
Is like, I'm better.
I'll fly. I wanted this to matter. And yes, it'll suck. I understand. But if he was Canadian and I would want him to play for Canada. I would be wanting him to push it. I know you think I'm crazy, Kyper, and people listening to this are probably pulling their ears out, or pulling their hair out. I don't know if you can pull your ears out.
I'm not disagreeing with you, the emotion of it, because I get the emotion. I'm just it kind of blows my mind a little bit that this thing has gone from, I'm not sure what to expect, to like win at all costs. This isn't the Olympics. It's not a Stanley Cup. It's a made-up tournament with a made-up trophy.
Yeah.
But it's not about the trophy. It's not about a cup. It's not about a gold medal. It's about
pride.
Is their country better than our country at hockey?
That's it.
They didn't even need to have Sweden.
That's where this has come to.
Yes.
Right?
100%.
So it's ego. It's
the same things it's always been, right? For international sports. It's the World Cup. It's, Argentina and Italy. And
that part blows me away that's how this thing has escalated.
Yeah.
And I don't mind it. Good. Let's bring it on, right?
I've used the advantage of my college team every year. We do one of these games, and it always ended the pace of a playoff game. And it was like, God, it's for nothing.
For nothing.
But it was Canada, USA.
And Sam's ready to give up an NHL season for it.
But I mean, look at, and these guys are like Quinn Hughes, is another guy wearing a non-contact jersey today who hasn't played in weeks. Who's
listen to Hagel.
Fly across the country.
We just heard from Hagel.
He also had a quote where I couldn't find the actual video of the quote, but he was like, I was lying in bed thinking about if this was going to be like an all-star game. And he's like, I sure hope it's not, because I'm going to run my head through the end glass.
He said, I'm going to be really out of place. I'll put my head through a wall.
Yeah.
I did it for the flag.
Oh.
And we're gonna ask pretty much the same guys for the next 10 years to do this every other year.
Yes. Can't wait.
Right? Every other year.
So happy about it.
That's what we want to see.
3 weeks.
That's what we want to see. We want to see the best hockey players play the best hockey. That is what we want.
It's a really, really big ask.
But I think the fundamental difference in this show is Kyper doesn't really care, and we do. I think that's the difference. I don't think you like the Olympics, and that'd be fine with you. And even if they didn't have the Olympics, I don't think you'd care that much. Would you? Be honest.
No, I like the Olympics. No, I like the Olympics.
But you just would just Olympics every 4 years. That's good enough for you.
I just think every other year doesn't make it as special as once every 4 years.
That's definitely a part of this here.
That's
is
fair.
that we
That's
haven't had an answer for where the teams are at.
Yeah.
We've lost track. Because to me, my whole thing with the World Cup in 2016, the Spangler Cup, any of the World Championships or whatever they're called in the summer, if you don't have your best guys there, what are we solving? We're solving nothing.
I mean, I'd like that.
I know you like to watch it, but it doesn't mean anything.
Well,
this does.
Hey, tell that to Andrew Mangiapane. And he lights it up over there.
Did Billy Guerin pour gasoline on this fire right now by going on Fox News and
I'm not
telling everybody?
Enough. What did he like?
I'll say this.
He invited President Trump to the game.
He did, and fine. The Daily Beast, who wrote the story that everyone's tweeting, I think misquoted some of what Guerin, or at least took it out of context, where the quote makes it sound like he said, we used Trump's threat to annex Canada as motivation, or whatever the word was. And I don't think Guerin is saying it's that he likes that inspired the guys, inspiration. I don't think that's what he's saying. He's saying that the political factor was motivation. Us against you, they're booing our anthem, whatever. I don't think he's saying that they're pro-annexation.
It is. You're on a fine line here.
He was on the tightrope and he fell off.
Yes.
People are killing him. online.
Yeah. Well, again, it's still a game in a league that's predominantly Canadian, although,
America's catching up.
They're catching up.
And
I
let's
get
face
it.
facts. We're
But
sensitive here about these threats.
We have a ton of Canadians that have a guy that wants to take away your country.
Yeah, take away your sovereignty and sovereignty.
You know
Sovereignty.
how we
went full Ricky
we've
from
had Billy.
California.
We love Billy Guerin, but Billy's also caught up in that, right? He's in the fishbowl right now. We're on a little bit on the outside.
He's American.
But they're also not covering this story like we're covering it here, where it's really can affect us.
Yeah.
They're laughing it off. They're not.
They barely booed the anthem there. But it
matters here.
It matters here.
It makes it matter more.
I don't
Thursday
think
night.
Guerin knows how touchy it is here.
Yes,
and
that's a perfectly way to put it.
Didn't walk that.
And in a
quite
perfect world, if you
on a
wanted
knife's
to invite
edge.
your president, wouldn't you just kind of do it behind the scenes first?
Yeah,
A little safer.
I guess. We had Trudeau, and I know people at home have their opinions.
Oh,
but
don't say the T word.
I know,
buddy.
but he was in the building in
Fire
Montreal.
himself
They can
here.
have their whatever there because lots of people would boo him too. And I agree. There's no doubt that is a flavor, one of the flavors that is in this stew that is driving people crazy.
Oh, it's.
I don't know how it's not
completely played into.
But how am I supposed to go
Thursday
another
night.
full day without it? Why is it not Wednesday?
You'll be fine.
Why is it not Wednesday?
We were
one travel day to go ask the players to go play Saturday.
It's crazy.
So looking at the first game, what does Canada need to do differently?
Shoot the puck
to have to give themselves a better shot.
I think they got to just establish a forecheck.
Yeah, I thought guys were alone a lot, like going in one man, two guys changing, two guys high. Didn't have a ton of puck support. I think Cale Makar will help.
Yeah, I thought Drew Doughty got a lot better.
Yes,
right.
He's been better as the tournament.
He's been better.
He was the one who snapped the pass to McDavid, right? When McDavid scored the only goal of the game, I think it was him that passed it. Bennington got an assist on that.
It appears that the lines are fairly comfortable now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
no sense Jarvis will come in.
No.
Tom Wilson's not going to hang glide in.
No.
Why not? Just bring them all in.
Well, now that it's so vague, it's like, whatever.
Bring them in.
If they wanted to.
Getting one of those quick power play goals could help too.
Yeah.
Konechny and Seth Jarvis had some bad sushi. Here comes Scheifele and Tom Wilson, baby.
Playing with Hyman on the left side.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. They're bringing in Hughes.
Would that be the who's the first guy in who's not in?
For Canada?
If Canada could parachute a
Glorious
guy in.
amulet.
Is it Tom
It's
Wilson?
100% Tom Wilson.
Oh, all day long.
Yeah. No
all
question.
day long.
First pick.
Might be Zach Hyman for me.
With the way that game went on Saturday and the physicality and all that stuff, I want to see Tom Wilson run someone through the end glass. That's the first pick.
Hyman forechecks.
For sure.
But
hits. He's not the man missile of Tom Wilson.
No.
Anyways.
And Brady's the one that's scary out there on a forecheck too. He hits to hurt.
If he's hurt, it helps Canada because he is a guy that you're like, who did he smoke? He crushed them.
He smoked Drew Doughty.
Yeah.
And there was a play in that game where Braden Point was coming out from around the net.
Oh, God.
And Tkachuk missed him by a half a step, and it would have been a bone rattler, really, really big hit, and it would have been an explosive moment. It didn't happen. He's looking to hurt somebody. Like, those two guys.
I don't think there's going to be fights off the start like last time.
There'll be
Maybe
a fight.
I'm wrong.
Not off the start, but there will be a fight.
But it's going to be.
I wouldn't mind one, to be honest with you.
Hey, listen, I'd love it.
Are you sure about that? You seem to hate the last game of fights.
No, I hated America sticking it to Canada. That's what I hated.
Me too, buddy.
Okay?
Me too.
But turn the tables.
Man, that's
proactive. Remember, proactive, not reactive.
Kevin Lowe tomorrow.
Kevin Lowe.
Yeah. Frege as well tomorrow.
Wow.
There you go. Maybe Scott Niedermayer on Thursday.
Ooh, buddy.
A ton still to go before the big game. Our thanks to Carter Hutton, former NHL goaltender. Does some great work also for Daily Face-Off. Take a deep breath, Sammy. We still got a lot of meat on the bone before puck drop Thursday night, my friend.
Can't wait.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.